Welcome everybody to the British Kart Championships Event 6. This is Rowrah. Nestled in the unique location on the edge of the Lake District, this track is known for its undulating and distinct character. With crests, falls, tight bank turns and more, this track offers a serious challenge for the IAME and KZ2 drivers here with us this weekend. The track is 1,030 metres long. The drivers will first face an elevated first chicane you can see there before heading into the two hairpins, McRae's and Iredale's, setting themselves up perfectly for this long main straight before heading into the Stuart S's and down the hill towards St John's and Sunny Bend. Finally, the drivers will go around Paddock Bend and that will be the lap complete at this one-of-a-kind circuit.
Wow, what a way to start the show. Welcome everybody once again to Rowrah. We're here in Cumbria for event 6 of this year's Wera Tools Motorsport UK British Kart Championships. Andrew Mather and Keogh Lynch with you for what could be a really important day in the stories that we're telling across the course of this season. We are now into the second half of the season, Keogh, and this is where it gets serious. All these championship battles that we've been building up across the first half of the year, we've got our contenders now. We know who's going to be pushing for those big trophies at the end of the season, but now they've got to go out there and win them. That's right, it always gets intense at this stage. Thrilled though to be back at this location, as the entire paddock is. We haven't been here in about 3 years. One thing though I do know is going to be a huge factor, which is a complete contradiction to our last event, is the weather. So far it's been completely unpredictable and I do think that's going to be messy for the drivers. Yeah, Friday was really nice weather during the practice sessions, and then Saturday's conditions, the rain came in. We've got no idea what's going to be happening here today on Sunday for another full round for all of our IAME categories and the finals for KZ2. We could see our first British Kart Champion of 2026 crowned here today. More on that later. But let's learn a little bit more about this Rowrah circuit. We've been out on track with the drivers. Rowrah. There is no other circuit like it in the UK. It's fast, it's technical, and it is physical for these drivers. You know how this works. We're going to go and get some insight from the track with not only some local drivers, but some local heroes here today. We're here at turn 1 with Caden Hakura. Caden, tell me about this turn 1. It's a very different turn 1 to what we're used to here in the British Kart Championships.
It's very elevated, it's very steep. And it's really tight and hard to manage that corner.
And it's the first part of 3 corners, in fact, through this chicane. Tell me about turn 2. Tell me about what you're thinking on a race start as well.
It's going to be very tight, very hard. There could be some spins, some crashes. And you better watch out.
Where do you want to be? Where do you not want to be on a race start?
You usually want to be on the inside for a race start.
But it's a tricky one as well, because if you're on the outside, you do actually have a nice line into this third part, this really wide curb, because this is an important part of the circuit as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because you don't want to get mugged off the track, and you really have to take that curb so you can get a good exit onto the straight and into the hairpin.
And what about in the wet? Do we want lots of this curb in the wet?
Especially in the wet.
Very good. Well, that was the first few corners. Even more challenges when we get down to the hairpins. Over to you, Keogh. Thank you very much, Andrew. I'm here with Water Swift driver Evan Owen. Evan, it's good to see you back here after a couple of years. This corner, though, the first of the 2 hairpins, how important is it to get a good exit out of here?
It's very important because someone can overtake you in the second hairpin if you don't get this one right.
And in the wet, of course, we want to take a very different line.
Yeah, around the outside, better.
Here now with Evan at the second of the 2 hairpins. Evan, so you've got a good run out of that first hairpin. This one then is a good overtaking opportunity. Can you tell us a bit more?
Yeah, if you get a good exit out of hairpin 1, this one's a fast and flow. You can overtake and then make it stick down the main straight.
That's right. Thank you very much for the insight, Evan. Let's move along to Andrew with our next driver.
Thanks, Keogh. We're here with Aaron Richardson, one of the very local drivers. Aaron, you're based just 5 minutes behind us. We're here at the Stuart S's, one of the most important parts of the circuit. Tell us about the entry into this corner first.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like one of the fastest corners on the track. I think you like open it up loads into it so you can run a straight line off the corner, and obviously it's really good for overtakes.
One of, maybe not the biggest overtaking opportunity, but definitely one of the big ones into here. You know, that gravel trap on the left-hand side is always there to catch out the unwary. And then you're immediately into another tight chicane here as well. How do you tackle a move into this part of the circuit?
Oh yeah, because obviously it's a fast corner, you don't have to slow it down as much as all the other corners, so it's a lot easier to make a move stick. And yeah.
And then this tight chicane as well, which the exit of is really, really important of. Where are you trying to position the kart? Because there's not much margin for error through this part.
Well, yeah, obviously the barrier is really close to the curb, so you've got to get as close to the barriers as you can, so you can get the best exit off the corner so you don't lose too much time.
Absolutely. Lots of action is to be expected in this part of the circuit, and more great corners further down the circuit with Keol.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Here with another very familiar face from the circuit, Jess Edgar. Jess, it's very different for you guys here in the KZ. You're carrying a lot of speed before this right-hander. Then you have to go down a couple of gears. Can you talk us through what it's like? Because there's a lot more on your plate than in the other classes.
Yeah, there's a lot happening all around this track really, but down the hill is really fast, obviously downhill. A couple of gears down and then into this left, which is another gear down, so it's quite a busy part of the track for us.
Do you think this is one of the more physical circuits on the calendar for you guys?
Yes, I think this has got to be in the top 2 or 3 of the most physical tracks for us.
Yeah, I think a lot of you guys would agree. Another thing about you and your family about this circuit, they've been coming for a long time. You've all got a lot of history here. There is your name up on the poster. How nice is it to return to a circuit that you and your family have a lot of history at?
Yeah, it's really nice to return home and race at home, somewhere that I've been coming since I was 4 years old. My first time in a Bambino would have been here, so it's nice to come and race at home in front of my family as well.
Living right across the quarry, you get to stay at home this one.
Yes, it's nice to stay at home.
Thank you very much, Jess, for the insight. Good luck for the rest of the weekend.
Thank you.
Well, here we are at the exit of the final corner. The challenges keep on coming for the drivers here at Rowrah. This is another really key part of the circuit, not just because it's the run to the finish line, but it's tight, it's compact. You can make a move if you're brave down the inside onto a very early apex, and then you've got to get your line right through under the shadow of the Cumbria Kart Racing Clubhouse here. It's a great place for the spectators to watch as well. You're in a real feeling of an amphitheatre at this point of the circuit. It's a great place for a race to finish. We're going to see plenty of close action here this weekend across the 2 days of racing, but particularly on Sunday. We're into the run-in of the season now. This is where it gets serious for the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. More to come here from Event 6 in Cumbria. You can watch it all here on Alpha Live.
I always enjoy getting the different perspectives on our track walks, and it was good to hear from not only some locals but some drivers who have performed really well here in the past.
They have indeed. We'll take a short break. More coming up after this from Wera Tools.
Thanks to Wera Tools, a fundamental part once again of this championship. But now let's talk something completely different, the FIA International Karting Ranking. Let's hear more from yourself and some drivers about how this affects the championship.
Back in 2024, the British Kart Championships became one of the first national series to be recognised as part of the FIA International Karting Ranking. In recent years, names such as Noah Baglin, Joe Turney, Lewis Werrell have all featured high up the list come the end of the season. But what is the FIA IKR? How does it work? And how is the championship involved? Here with Ian Rogers from the Championship officials team. Ian, international karting ranking, what is it?
It's a mechanism for drivers to rate themselves against other drivers, both nationally and internationally. So a bit like the tennis and maybe the golf, where the pros can see where they rank in the world. Exactly the same for kart racers and kart drivers.
And how does it work? I'm imagining that different, like the tennis and the golf, different events are worth more points?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at the international rankings, for example, you score depending on where you finished in a race, but also how many participants were included. So if you beat 2 drivers, that's great, but you don't get as many points if you beat 100 drivers effectively. So yeah.
And why is it important to this championship in particular?
I think we've promoted it now for the last 3 years. We've had some really good results, both on the national and international stage. You look at the moment, we've got a British driver, I think is top 8 in the world, which is fantastic. And on the international stage, we've got a UK driver who's actually number 1. So really important to us as a UK nation, if you like, for British drivers.
I mentioned one of those drivers. Let's have a chat with Riley Cranham, who was our top junior driver last year. Here with Riley Cranham. Riley, welcome back to the BKC. Welcome back to Rowrah as well. You're here working for Future Motorsport this weekend. Thinking back to last year, though, the myriad of successes that you had, British champion, Kart Masters win, Euro Series, all those points that you acquired in the international karting ranking eventually got you to be the top junior driver. How did that feel?
Yeah, you know, all the hard effort put behind the season, you know, it's good for me. Like, we've worked so hard last season with the team, and it's nice to be recognised for what I've achieved.
Did it change anything for you getting that achievement?
Well, obviously, it's a big confidence boost knowing you're one of the top in the world and the season. So, you know, you take a lot of confidence into your next season, whatever you race, and yeah, it just really helps.
And pretty cool getting one of those FIA President's medals as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, very cool.
Riley, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, from one of last year's top drivers in the international karting ranking from the UK to the current top driver in 2026, Harrison Whitcomb. Harrison, it's been a busy year for you already, doing double duty in the British Kart Championships, racing in, you know, the Champions of the Future Academy as well. All those points that you accumulated have given you a really good position so far this year.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I've just been trying to get out in the kart as much as I can. It's important to accumulate the points in the finals because obviously that's where the points come through. It's just about keeping consistent, yeah, and bringing the good results in.
I say that's similar to what Riley said as well, that consistency and being rewarded for it. It's quite a nice feature of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, like you have to keep winning, you have to keep on the podium because that gives you the maximum points. So yeah, it's just keeping the consistency. It's good to see like your points get toward like every other driver, not just your own class. So yeah, it's great to see it. How
do you think you'd feel if you do get to the end of the season and you're still there, top British national driver?
It'll be a great feeling because I'll be able to brag to my friends at college that I'm the top driver. But yeah, it's just a great feeling to be able to get rewarded for something else.
Fantastic. Harrison, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. That's all you need to know about the international karting ranking and how it works here within the British Kart Championships. If you want to check out the latest scores, search FIA International Karting Ranking online.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for the inside scoop there. But let's talk what's happening here this weekend at Rowrah. For starters, M1 Bambinos return with us once again.
They do indeed. They had a good round yesterday. The likes of Presley, Knight, Teddy Smith, all looking good. Let's hear from Shay Downey ahead of the racing here today and catch up with the highlights from Saturday.
Here catching up with Bambino driver Shay Downey. Shay, it's good to have you here at a very rainy Rowrah. But let's talk your season so far. How have you found it?
So I found it quite good. At the minute, I'm keeping on the pace, and if I stick in that second and first, I might just get a trophy.
Exactly that. And you said you had a little bit of engine issues at round 1. Do you think that ironed out for this one?
Yeah. I need to keep going fast, and I need to keep with Prez.
And this is not the only form of motorsport you race in. You've mentioned you run a dual program. Can you talk to us a bit about what else you race?
Yes, I race F2 stock car. I came from last to first. Well, not first, but came last to 6th.
And that was because you had to start at the back because you're a new driver. Looks like you're not going to have to do that this weekend, though, because you've qualified on the front row. What's your knowledge of this circuit like? Have you been before?
Yes, I've been there quite a few times. I've had a couple of practices here.
Well, thank you very much. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Saturday's finals started with M1 Bambino, Teddy Smith, Presley Knight on the front row of the grid. Rainy conditions for the first time in the 2026 campaign. didn't stop the drivers having a clean start up towards turn 1. A positive one as well for Shay Downey, straight up to second place. There was a good scrap further down the order in the middle of the race for George Miller and Nicholas Anser. With the rain, there would be a few spins. Henry Exton falling foul at hairpin number 2. Ryla Stevens had some challenges as well, and unfortunately fell off the lead lap. But it would be Presley Knight taking a second win of the season. A clean sweep of the points here at Rowrah. He takes the championship lead into Saturday, but with strong challenges from the likes of Teddy Smith and Shay Downey.
Presley Knight taking that win there has not only built on his confidence, but he has gained on the championship leader, who is George Miller. Let's move along though to a class that is still close as ever, and that is Water Swift Restricted. Let's hear from your current championship leader heading into this weekend and see what happened yesterday.
We're here with Arthur Bowers in the BMR awning, our championship leader in the restricted category heading into this weekend. Arthur, tell me about your season so far. We started at Wilton Mill, then went to Lark Hall. Tell me about those races.
I got a start. First, we started off at Wilton Mill, where I got a third on the last day, and then we went to
Lark Hall.
And then I got a second and just a second, I think.
But you've been scoring lots of points.
Yeah.
You're leading the championship. You're looking to go further. Who have you been working with? Who's been helping you?
My team, BMR, Tom Grice.
And your mechanic Joe as well.
Yeah.
And what have you learnt from them as well? What's the biggest thing that you've learnt so far this year?
You don't have to win to extend the points.
So yeah, you can keep it nice and consistent. We're here at Rowrah, tricky circuit, lots of corners. What's been Joe telling you about through the practice sessions?
To open the hairpins up.
Yeah, because those hairpins really, really important. How much do you enjoy racing? Because your dad used to race as well. He raced on 2 wheels, you race on 4. What is it about karting that you really like?
I think I like it because how fast they go.
Yeah. What's the fastest you reckon you've gone before?
Probably in a mini.
Yeah. Super stuff. Well, best of luck for this weekend, Arthur. I'm sure we'll see you towards the front again, and we'll see you later on in the weekend. Nerves in the air, plenty of rain too, ahead of the first of 2 Miami Water Swift Restricted finals at Rowrah. From lights out, Hendrix Fallat took the early lead. With strong performances through the heats, he had plenty of confidence heading into the final. Elsewhere on lap 1, problems for Patrick Wood. He would spin out before a great battle ensued between the likes of Ollie West, Benjamin Schlivar and Freddie Baker. Back and forth for positions in the top 5 they would go. In the end, Freddie Baker would win out on his way to a podium finish. Problems in the second half of the race would befall Ollie West, who span out at hairpin 2 and be joined by Ollie Woodall, but it was Hendrix Fallat taking a maiden BKC victory. A brilliant display ahead of Freddie Baker and Arthur Bowers. Let's see what happens in the final on Sunday.
Fantastic result there from Hendrix Fallat after the form he's been on so far this season. Could today be another win for him?
Could be indeed. Well, we'll see later on with the Miami Water Swift Restricteds. Their heats coming up in the not too distant future. More previews of more of our classes coming up after this from Demon Tweaks.
Here at Demon Tweaks, you probably know us for our massive cartwear range. We've got everything from suits, boots, gloves and helmets from the biggest brands in the business. But we are so much more than that, because if you're looking for kart parts, well, we've got you covered too. We've got everything from Rotax parts, sprockets and chains, discs and pads, data loggers and dashers, fuel tanks, steering wheels, bead breakers and loads more. But of course, it doesn't just stop at the track, and if you're looking to build your skills in the sim, then we've got everything you're going to need to build the ultimate rig. So whether you're just getting started or you're already at the top of your game, Demon Tweaks has got you.
Thanks again to Demon Tweaks, as always, for their continuous support of the championship.
Yes, let's move on to Water Swift then. The stories are growing and growing in this category in 2026. Coming into the weekend, Mason Hibbert, off the win in Scotland a month ago, had another victory in Europe and was looking in really good form, championship leader at the start of the race meeting. Struggled in practice, struggled in qualifying as well, was not looking good for him at the start of yesterday's racing. Before we look at the highlights though from the final, let's catch up with one of our drivers also in the Fusion team, Charlie Clough, and then get the latest from what is going to be a very dramatic class here today.
Here in the Fusion Motorsport awning, catching up with Charlie Clough for the first time this year. Charlie, it's good to see you back. You had a really positive start to your year over in Europe as well. You were definitely deemed as one of the drivers to watch. How's the start of your season gone?
It's been a tough season so far. We're hoping this weekend goes better than it has at the start.
We have seen you have some ups and downs so far. What do you think it's going to take this weekend to push that little further?
Just keep my head up and try as hard as I can.
And here at Rowrah, we know there is some significant elevation changes. There's some really fast flowing corners. Do you think you're one of the more experienced drivers in the field? You race, of course, various circuits over in Europe. Do you think that's going to help you this weekend?
Yeah, because I've been to this track quite a lot of times and hopefully that helps me.
And this is the point in the season now where we see drivers kind of turn it around. They can get the results they're looking for. Specifically, you last year, we saw you get some really positive results, especially towards the end of the year. Is that what you're looking to do with Fusion for the rest of this season?
Yeah, try to get a bit better.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
Thumbs up for racing here at Rowrah. Miami Waterswift with plenty on the line. Drama before the race start. Dimitar Uzanov, meant to start third, was out with technical problems. Alfie Davidson took the race lead from the early stages ahead of Chester Forks. Bodie Batch would have trouble in the early stages out of hairpin number 2. Problems for Hugo Williamson as well. The privateer out in the early lap with a spin at hairpin 1. Mason Hibbert had not had a good time through the heats, but with some smart driving, picked his way up the order and gained valuable points. Dramas as well for Alfie Davidson out from the race lead, handing victory to Chester Forks. LBJ Stubbs held on ahead of Hibbert. For Forks, it was a first win since 2024 in the British Kart Championships, ahead of a pleased Stubbs and an even happier Hibbert.
Could that be the moment that we see Alfie Davidson's fate decided within this championship? That's not a result that we'd usually see from a driver of his category, which did mean that Mason Hibbert regained the championship lead. Let's take a break though from yesterday's racing and get the insight of a KZ driver around this circuit.
Welcome to the race centre here with Ralph Youngling. Ralph, good to see you once again in the KZ2 category this weekend. Rowrah, really interesting circuit for the KZ2s and very different to what we had a couple of weeks ago at Kimbolton. Should we go through a lap?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so yeah, going into turn 1. So of course this corner's uphill, so it's a blind apex. So the right is really important that you carry enough speed through, but you also set up the left. And you can't really see the apex, so yeah, it's really, really important because there's a barrier on the inside of the curb, but you don't want to hit that or run off too wide coming out of it.
I imagine tyre pressures are really important through this part because you're leaning on the left-hand side a lot. We've then got this run towards these double hairpins. Overtaking through this part of the circuit?
Yeah, definitely one of the major overtaking points down into this hairpin one. So if you get a run and you do the first bit of the sector good, then you can get a run, go in quite hard into hairpin 1 and they can't really get a switch back. So yeah. It's really important that you go in really hard and to really get the kart rotated and carry the speed. And yeah, similar thing going into hairpin 2, pretty much the exact same corner. This one's got a bit of banking, so you can brake later than you think. And yeah, really important to get a run because this is pretty much the main straight of the track. So if you mess this up, mess the hairpin 2 up, you lose down the whole straight.
Another big difference to this weekend, we don't know what the weather forecast is going to do when we get to Sunday. I imagine this part of the circuit can be quite tricky in terms of grip levels if it is going to be raining.
Yeah, so I've never actually driven here in the wet before. So yeah, I guess I'll find out what it's going to be like. But yeah, everyone that I've spoken to says the wet is really good around here, so I'm excited to see if it does rain.
And it's a proper roller coaster circuit as well. These corners must be great. This right and then left towards the end of the lap.
Yeah, they're really fun corners, really fast, really flowing, especially the downhill right. You go literally over the hill, you have to pull a gear as you're going over the hill, it's really physical. And then down the hill, the really fast right is really fun, and then the left as well. I really enjoy those sorts of corners, so yeah.
Well, that was a great talk through the lap Ralph, in terms of the rest of this season, we've got this round, we've then got the events at Silverstone. How much are you looking forward to this run into the end of the year?
Yeah, well, Silverstone's a really exciting track to have on the calendar. I drove the first ever test day there, and I think it was a really amazing track. Haven't been there since, but we'll do some testing soon. And yeah, that's a really, really exciting event. And I think the grid will be really good as well. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Super. Ralph, thanks for your time. Best of
Thank you
luck
very
this
much.
weekend.
Thank you for that, Andrew. I always find the KZ perspective so impressive to see. The amount of times that they must change gear around a circuit like this is physically challenging. Let's get back to racing though. Junior X30 is up next.
It is indeed. Really interesting story in X30 Junior coming into this weekend. We talk about home advantage in sport. Well, in a way, there's no home advantage this weekend for two of our lead drivers in this category. We've already heard from one of them, Aaron Richardson, earlier in the show on the track walk. George Edgar, though, he leads the championship. He's the other local hero, as it were, within this category going into this weekend. A great performance from him last time out at Lark Hall.
That's right. Let's hear from George Edgar himself and watch yesterday's highlights.
Here with George Edgar in the Mick Bout Racing awning. George, big weekend for you, this one. First of all, racing at home, how does that feel?
Yeah, for me, my home track at Rowrah, it's where I started a very long time ago. It brings back some good memories, and obviously I'm here, all my family's here to watch, so yeah, it's good, it's cool.
Let's go back to the last round. It was a very strong weekend for you at Lark Hall. A lot of championship points, but not without its trials and tribulations, was it? Particularly on that Saturday with you got the win, but you had a bit of an issue with the chassis.
Yeah, so on Saturday I managed to be pole and then take the final win, but unfortunately it was a little bit harder than it needed to be because we found out after the final the kart was cracked, but we still brought it home for the win and managed to take the championship lead after the weekend, so it was a very, very good weekend.
In a way, does that give you quite a lot of confidence that you were able to get that kind of result with that problem?
Yeah, obviously we knew on Saturday night that then there's still quite a lot of speed left in it ready for Sunday, and I think we showed that on Sunday to winning the final by even more.
Now, one of the other interesting aspects about your class and this particular weekend is that you're not the only driver from this part of the world in Junior X30 racing up at the front. We spoke to Aaron Richardson yesterday. How's that as a dynamic in this championship battle between the two of you?
Yeah, I think obviously me and Aaron are probably in the main championship fight. Obviously for him, it's also a special weekend for him. We're both going to want to win at our home track, so it should be a good race to see who comes out on top.
How's the feeling in the team as well? Pretty good?
Yeah, Mick, Dan and my mechanic Ashton have been working very hard, making sure everything's right. We've been testing, got the kart set up right, and we've just had qualifying, and we've managed to take pole, so hopefully we can carry that on throughout the rest of the weekend and bring home a double win for my home race.
Fantastic stuff. George, thanks for your time. We'll leave you to it.
Thank you.
Plenty of questions to be asked and answered in the X30 Junior final on Saturday. It had been a tough start to the weekend for Rocco Shenton, but the rain had turned the fortunes of the number 6 driver around. He would lead in the early stages from pole position with a strong start from the front row. The grip changing everywhere for the drivers, everybody battling for grip. Aaron Richardson, also on the home soil, was looking to make good progress. Archie Rogers-Tyler was out on lap 2. Alex Riley lost a number of his early gained positions. Katie Donaldson gained, whilst George Edgar would retire midway through from second place in the race. Rocco Shenton was left out front. A marvellous victory for Rocco. It was his first since 2022. It had also opened up the championship scores. Aaron Richardson leading going into Sunday.
Well, that's not at all what George Edgar would have wanted, especially at this stage and how the championship was playing out for him so far. But you have to be thrilled for Rocco Shenton, his first victory since 2022. And of course he did it in the wet.
He did indeed. There's going to be more fireworks in Junior X30 as we go across the course of the day. Not too long before we go racing. Let's hear though from another of the championship partners here from KartSim.
Wera, what a start from the start, heading up into the top section.
Welcome back everybody to the build-up show for event 6 of this year's Wera Tools British Kart Championships. Less than 15 minutes before we start racing here today. Let's talk X30 Senior. This has been some story so far this year, dominated by premium karting. The inter-team battle between Harrison Whitcomb, who had both final wins in the first meeting, then Freddie Lloyd, who returned to the championship at Lark Hall. He took the second 2 finals of the year. It's going to be a really interesting dynamic between those two and other members of the premium karting team heading into today's meeting, because they had another good result yesterday. More on those highlights up in a bit. Before we get to those though, let's hear from one of our drivers in Senior X30 with Levi Sangera in the MDL team.
Here in the MDL awning, catching up with returning Senior X30 driver Levi Sangera. Levi, it's good to have you back at the British Kart Championships. For starters, can you tell us as a whole what it's like to race in this championship? Because we know we see you in a few over the years.
It's all right. It's quite tiring because I have to travel back and forth from America. I don't race here. I travel back and forth because I race in America now. I used to race here. But I think the championship's pretty cool and I like it a lot, yeah.
You're doing a dual program over in America as well. Do you think this gives you kind of a bit of harder work to do when you get over here up against these drivers who do club races, for example, week in, week out?
It can be hard, yeah. Against these drivers, it can be hard. The aggression level here against America is really different. So I always have to adapt to their style, but I get used to it.
And compared to some of the other tracks we reach on this calendar, some drivers say it is one of the more tricky tracks. It's technical, especially in this wet with all the undulation. How do you find it in the senior kart?
I actually like it. It's quite fun, actually. I like the elevation changes. It's quite fun. Makes me happy.
And you had your best result today at Lark Hall. Do you think you're able to build on that this weekend with MDL?
Yeah, I think I can, yeah. I always build off of my past results.
Thank you very much, Levi. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Full focus required for the seniors. The toughest conditions for them in a final so far in 2026. Lewis Bird started from pole position. Nat Johnston fought hard to retain second place ahead of Freddie Lloyd. Harrison Whitcomb needed points and positions, but disaster. Mechanical failure taking him out of Saturday's final and losing him considerable points. Luke Taylor also wouldn't see the checkered flag. Alexander de Benedictis and Morgan Moore would go back and forth, both gaining a number of positions in the first half of the race. Moore using his rally skills to keep himself within contention. It was a close scrap in the midfield. But for Lewis Bird, a fantastic victory, his first at this level, ahead of Premium Karting's other driver Freddie Lloyd. Game on for Sunday.
So nice to see a result like that for a driver like Lewis Bird. With 8 British Kart Championships podiums and 5 seedings, it was great that he was the driver to continue this streak for Premium Karting. Let's talk KZ now, though, who are returning with us this weekend here at Rowrah. And Noah Wolf, since round 2, has clean swept.
He has indeed. There's a lot to unpack for KZ2 this weekend. The first thing, this is a very different circuit to what we had 2 weeks ago at Kimbolton. We've also got some returning faces to the championship here this weekend. None other than Ella Stevens, last year's runner-up in KZ2, returning for a little bit of fun here this weekend in between her F1 Academy races. We caught up with her earlier on in the weekend.
Here in the Jade Racing awning, catching up with 2025 KZ2 runner-up Ella Stevens. Ella, it's great to have you back. As many know, you have made your transition into Formula One Academy this year. Tell us how that's going and what made you come back.
It's been a bit of a tricky start so far. I mean, it's my first season in cars, so it's always going to be a little bit difficult. But generally, it's just an amazing opportunity. It's amazing to be racing for McLaren.
And I know everyone in this paddock is thrilled to see you back here this weekend. I'm guessing the goal for you this weekend is going to be different. Last year, you were racing intense for a whole championship. This year, it's a one-round wonder. Is that going to change how you race this weekend?
Probably, yeah. I think just no pressure, just having a little bit of fun is going to make all that difference. You know, no pressure, just no one thinking, oh, get a good result. I'm just here for some summer fun. So.
And the gearbox car around this circuit, it's very physical. There's a lot of gear changes with the elevation changes. Is that a challenge for you this weekend? How are you finding it?
I think the elevation makes it a really cool track. It's definitely one of my favourite tracks, hence why I'm here, and I happen to be free for it. So I think it's just a really cool track. It's got all the different types of corners and the different gears.
Speaking of this track, your teammate Jess Edgar is another local driver to this circuit. We know she's fond of it as well. Jess Egger, of course, has been through the Formula One Academy experience. How nice is it that you get to come back, return to the British Kart Championships and sort of share the experience that you've both had now?
It's great, yeah. I mean, we used to be teammates when we were about 13, so then obviously Jess went off, come back with some tips, and then now it's my turn, so it's great to be teammates again for the weekend.
Full circle moment for you two. Well, thank you very much. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Great to hear there from Ella Stevens. Now, Ella could have a bit of a role to play here today. This is where it might get a little bit complex, folks. We'll try and take you through this as easily as we can. Ella's a guest driver this weekend. Same for Alan Kenyon, same for Sam Lewis. They will not score championship points here today. However, with the pace that we've seen from them, Alan Kenyon looking really, really quick so far this weekend, they could get in amongst it in terms of the title picture. Noah Wolf could win the title today. I'm going to be very careful with my words here, folks. If Noah Wolf is the top scorer of the regular drivers, him, Miles Murphy, Charlie Turner, those we've seen previously in the season, he could win the championship today, but he needs some other things to happen. This is where we consult the notes for this one. Charlie Turner needs to finish outside the top 3 in both the pre-final and the final, and he needs Miles Murphy to not finish second in either of those 2 races here today. If all of those things happen, we could be calling, we probably will be calling, Noah Wolf as champion here today. Should note as well, it wasn't a good day yesterday for Noah Wolf. He had spins on both lap ones in the heats. He fought back well in the second one, so he got a good number of points, which doesn't sound great. But there was also problems for Charlie Turner and Miles Murphy. So there's going to be all kinds of permutations up in the air today. In a way, the neutrals of us, we want it to go to Silverstone. We want it to go all the way. But Noah Wolf in a very strong position, despite having some troubles yesterday.
That's right. Good recoveries from him, though, despite the action of yesterday. And just like that, Andrew, that is it from us here on the Build Up Show. Let's go racing. We'll see you out there.